everyone. You're listening to Superhero Speak, and if you're on YouTube, you're watching us.
And we're sorry for that. We're so sorry for that.
I'm your host, Dave.
I'm John.
I'm JD. I'm well lit.
JD's got the experience to make himself look good. Okay. Well, the rest of us are just like, I'll just throw a light here.
All the experience in the world won't help me. So
at least I got Christmas.
You do have Christmas. Dave didn't tell us we're doing video like all the time now. So I was on my desktop. Now I had to change to my laptop, and that the lighting was bad, and so I had to fix it. So we're 15 minutes behind schedule.
I look good. I thought we could try it. That's all.
Hey, I'm ready. I look good.
He does look good, Dave.
I'm delivering my end of the bargain.
He does deliver the goods.
Each and every week on Superhero Speak.
So how are you doing, JD?
I'm actually really good. Today I can say something. I'm actually involved. I've been writing stuff with Fight Game Media. I'm doing some really cool stuff with them. And today we made the official announcement. They're doing a Fight Game Media Patreon network. And I'm going to be co-hosting. It's called High Tension. It's a Japanese pro wrestling podcast. And it's going to be me and Justin Nipper and Joe Laraka talking about what's going on in Japan every week. And it's a really cool thing. You know, this is I've never been involved in a Patreon network before. So we got some pretty good draws. I'm not one of those pretty good draws. I'm bonus content, but I'm excited to be a part of it.
See, you joined us and now you're a professional podcaster.
Dude, you got like being part of this built up the resume. I got 4 now. I'm not sleeping.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I haven't slept more than 4 or 5 hours in the last 3 weeks. I'm gonna snap eventually, but
good.
But I'm doing everything I've always wanted to do.
Hopefully tonight you'll snap. That'll be good. Good podcasting.
TikTok.
No, not TikTok. It's Quibi.
TikTok.
Let's put it on Quibi.
Break it down.
We'll put it on Quibi. That way nobody will ever see it.
No one will ever see it. Is Quibi officially dead?
It's officially dead. No, it's officially
dead. It was never meant to survive. Come on.
No, it was the most half-assed billion-dollar idea ever.
It wasn't half-assed. It was
half-assed.
No. It was purposefully done that way. So and I don't. Somebody's going to come up and figure it out some point. But the rumors I've heard lately is, or the rumors I've heard for the last like 8 months is basically it was put together so they could get a bunch of rights holders together and do something with it. I don't know what, but Quibi was never supposed to survive.
So you're accusing them of doing the producers?
Yeah,
basically, yeah. That's exactly the way it's being described is the producers.
I thought it was odd that there was a musical Springtime for Hitler on there. I didn't understand what was going on.
No human being would ever want to watch a wide frame show by turning it to portraits mode.
All right.
5 minutes at a time.
Yes.
We kind of derailed quickly, but I will say this.
We do.
I kind of feel like Quibi is the ultimate expression of corporate ideas going way too far, where it was like, they had said, online videos. Everyone likes online and watches stuff on their phone, and short content. You know, that's what gets all the hits on YouTube. So they said, let's get a bunch of people to make videos and put it on this platform. But they got people who make movies to cut movies up into small segments instead of, no, they're watching 10-minute videos about a toy review or an unboxing.
But those are successful. My 4-year-old just absolutely loves watching other kids play with toys. It makes no sense to me, but he loves watching other kids open up toys.
Right, but it's content that's made to be short form. Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's also meant to appeal to children.
Yes. So speaking of children, how you doing, John?
Yeah, nice. Very good. Well played. Yeah, I'm doing good. Just is it just me or like do the weeks get shorter at the end of the year?
Oh yeah.
It's just like, I mean, seriously, like I thought I had all of my Christmas shopping done, and now I've got a few more things I have to get, and now I'm all of a sudden rushing. I'm like, I was specifically trying to avoid this.
Days are all the same when you're self-employed and don't work.
But you do work, dude.
I know. I work more. Like my real job has gone to shits, but I work more than any human being possibly should.
I wish I could work half as hard as you. My book would have been done years ago.
Speaking of books, did you get your package?
Not yet. No.
Okay.
I actually live in a place. My post office is in a place actually called Wagon Town, and it is delivered by horse. So, you know.
Well, you'll get your murder book is on the way.
My murder book, yes. Oh, I'm gonna read the hell out of that.
I hope you do. You paid for it.
Wait a minute. That means my digital copy went to my Hotmail account, didn't it?
Whatever email address that you submitted to Kickstarter is where it went. Oh, you can't get into your Hotmail account.
No. So,
I'll forward it to you.
I was about to say, maybe my good friend could send it to my Gmail account.
I'll take care of you.
Sad panda.
I'll be a much happier panda when everybody gets these books.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, what do we want to talk about today?
Yeah, we're in a podcast and we're all like, ooh.
Dead air.
No one asked me how I'm doing, you know.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. Dave, how are you?
Well, number one, I agree with John. It's like, well, also
that's weird.
That's not right.
I'm in a huge project that we're rushing to get done before the end of the year. And like I was in meetings today, I'll be in meetings all day tomorrow, I'll be in meetings all day Wednesday. And it's just like, and then I'm not getting anything done.
And then they're gonna ask you, why haven't you gotten anything done?
Exactly. Thank you.
Even though they were in the meeting or running the meetings that they forced you into. Yeah.
Yes.
Been through that.
See,
it's much better working for yourself, JD. Trust me.
Except for the whole, money thing.
Yeah.
You know where yours is coming from.
Hey, if you need more money, just kill me again. I'll pay for it.
By the way, we're gonna talk come late January, early February.
You're on.
But I just started a personal project. I don't know why. Well, I know why. I'll get to that in a second. I have an old guitar that I got years ago. It was a friend of mine lent it to me, and he's a guitarist, and has a actually fairly large guitar collection. At one point, I realized I still had it when I moved out of my house, and I said, I've got this old gray Harmony of guitar of yours. Do you want it back? He's like, nah, just keep it. But I never really, it's gray. Well, it was gray. I never really liked it. So it kind of just sat in my closet. I've decided I'm going to refinish it. So I started taking the paint off of it. And as I'm like looking online for parts for it, because I have a specific look that I want for it, I found, you can get kit guitars for from Walmart for like $100, $150, depending on what you want. So it's like everything you need. All you have to do is put it together and finish the wood yourself. And I'm like, I could have just bought that. But then I realized something, that I'm not actually doing this because I want to just redo a guitar. I'm doing this because I want to take something in my life that I don't like and change it. So it's kind of metaphorical. So that's become like my thing now. Like, I'm going to change this old gray guitar that I'm not happy with and turn it into something I love. So I'll let you guys know how it turns out. It's going to take a while because it's been really hard to get the paint off of this, but I'll let you know how it turns out when I'm done. So yeah, that's when my,
it's very Hemingway of you.
Yes. That's what I thought too.
Does that count as Mandalorian talk? I'm not sure. I'm looking at the list.
Hell no, it doesn't count as Mandalorian talk. Hey, there's a week talk about Mandalorian. This week talk about Mandalorian.
I was gonna say, and then the other thing I've been doing, and we haven't talked about on this show in 3 weeks, is watching the Mandalorian.
Is everybody up to date?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to say, stormtroopers still have the worst freaking aim ever. I mean, like they had a freaking auto gun, and they did basically the cardboard. They're shooting at the sniper, and they did like the bullets going all around her, but none hit her. It's like,
So let's be real. Let's think about this in context of the Star Wars universe. Who are the people that at this point in the timeline are still stormtroopers? I don't think they're paid exceptionally well.
true.
Right?
They're
don't
becoming the new order at this point,
right.
right?
They don't. No, we're the Galactic. The New Republic's taking over. So
Oh.
I don't believe that these are the sharpest knives in the drawer. Because why
Right.
would you sign up to be a stormtrooper? They're literally the frontline fodder. Like you got people that have nothing else going for them in life. They're not even clones anymore because clones cost too much money. The dead, on the other hand, are super cheap. So that's what it is. It's all the dumbasses in the Star Wars universe. You put a
Right.
white helmet on, go run. They
Well,
don't take you
remember they added to the canon that like with John Boyega's character Finn
conscripted.
conscripted and then
Yeah.
mind wiped or something,
Also-
right?
I also think about it this way: they are the guys that are doing guard duty, like in the episode where they went to the planet and they destroyed that facility. They're doing guard duty on a facility that no one's supposed to know about, no one cares about. No, the Alliance obviously never went after this. So these were probably the lowest of the lows.
Right.
It was just like, hey, I put these guys on guard duty there. And yeah, except, and then Moff Gideon. Yeah, I don't know, like I don't know what his role in the Empire was. Maybe he was a low level guy, but he's all that's
He's
left.
a Moff. He's a Moff.
Yeah.
He might be the final Moff.
Yeah. Could be.
There's a joke there and I can't find it. No, but think about it. You have either these stormtroopers are either zealots or losers with nothing else to do. Either way, they're cannon fodder.
So
Yep.
Take the hint, man.
So
Well, you put them up against 2 Mandalorians, and Jesus Christ. Like,
so I was gonna say we got because we haven't talked about this on the show. So in the time that we've talked, they were promised things that they got delivered on these last couple weeks. Of course, Ahsoka the Katana, played by Rosario Dawson, and Boba Fett, and actually got Boba Fett, not just teasings of him. So I guess we'll start with Ahsoka. Are we happy with the way she was portrayed?
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah. Again, it was the guy who directed that episode and
Dave
wrote
Filoni.
it was the same one who did Rebels and stuff. So he, right down to her movements when she was fighting.
Yeah.
They got Ahsoka right down to who she was.
It's his character, yeah.
Yeah.
And you could tell she took it seriously too.
Yeah.
Wasn't just a paycheck to her. So
you can definitely tell. That's the thing about these movies in particular, or this show in particular, is you can tell that everybody's really putting in, love. Like this isn't just people working. Like these people like what they're doing and
respect,
care and respect it. Like
yeah.
That's what really makes this whole show special. She was great. She nailed it. Like, and it was like a reverse Seven Samurai story. Instead of like protecting the invaders from coming in,
they were going.
She's trying to come in to liberate them, but it's very Kurosawa inspired, just like an inversion on the story. It's great.
Yes.
I liked it.
And best line: a Jedi and a Mandalorian, they'll never see it coming.
Never see it coming. I loved it.
Yeah. All right. And then, of course, last week, we got Dad Bod Boba Fett. I mean, as soon as Slave One showed up, I'm like, all right, here we go. This is it. Like, that you can't deny it. There's no more, maybe it's not really Boba Fett. Maybe it's just a clone BS going on. And yeah, I mean, they definitely delivered, I think.
For sure. Like, I didn't know where they were going with it. And then I forget Ming-Na Wen's character, but she's really good. And the babyface turn, I did not see coming. Like, I did not think we'd end the episode with the Mandalorian and Boba Fett working together to save the child. Like, sign me up. Directed by the great Robert Rodriguez.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was the perfect guy to bring in to do the most action-heavy episode ever on the show.
I pity Moff Gideon. He does not know the storm that's coming for him.
Oh, it's so great.
He
It's
just-
so great.
He thinks he's got his dark saber. He thinks he's all in control. He's got his dark troopers, whatever, and he doesn't have a chance.
So this will be the last stand of Boba Fett, right?
Oh,
Like we're gonna see the death of Boba Fett finally.
That's a good question.
well, I got worried when the name of this last episode was the tragedy.
Yeah.
It was a tragedy. They caught little Grogu.
Yeah. But watching the baby throw stormtroopers around, I
It's
could
great.
They just got to put that on a loop, and that was awesome.
It's the perfect, exactly a toddler with force powers would do.
Yes.
It was
Exactly.
fantastic.
Oh,
It's my favorite show, man. It might be my favorite show of the last 5 years. You know, I enjoy it so much.
it's getting better.
The other actress, I can't think of her name, or the character.
Ming-Na Wen.
Ming-Na Wen, yeah.
Not Ming now. She now works for the Alliance.
The Zealot, the Moff Gideon's like admiral or whatever.
No. When
Who else are we talking about?
Mando goes to ask,
The wrestler woman. What's her name?
Yes.
I can't remember what her name is.
Gina Carano?
Yeah.
well, I know
that's it.
Gina Carano, but what's the character's name?
Oh God, Cara Dune.
Cara Dune. That's it. Thank you. When he goes to her to get information about where they possibly are taking the child, or no, to get that other guy, the ex Empire guy that he captured in the first season.
Yeah.
And but it was funny because he's like, well, these stripes mean something, and and I got to take it seriously. And it's like, yeah, but they have the kid. Oh, okay. This is the information you need.
To which I was on the treadmill at the time, and I yelled, "Rules? Who needs rules? There are no rules where we're going."
Yeah, I thought that was brilliant. That was how everyone watching the show felt at that moment.
Yeah.
And I love the use of the name Grogu there, JD.
Yes.
Screw all the people still trying to say Baby Yoda.
His name, man. I mean, like they gave him a name. You don't have to like the name. I'm sure when people Yoda first came out, people in the 80s were like, Yoda? Yoda, this Muppet looking thing.
Yeah, and then Weird Al Yankovic got a hold of it, and everybody was singing it.
Yoda. No, I think it's fine. That's the character's name. He responds to it every time Mando says it. He goes like a dog. So that's the name. His mom will call him Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay.
Exactly. Yeah. So 2 episodes left in the season.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That bums me out because that's been my Friday routine.
It'll be interesting to see where this goes. Yeah, and you're right. We might see the last stand of Boba Fett.
I think we will. I think they're finally. I think what's so good because we've had it's been for 40 years now. People saying this can't be the end of Boba Fett, and George Lucas kind of dragging his heels on, just no, Boba Fett wasn't cool. He didn't see the potential in his own character, and so you've had your imagination running wild. Then it's oh, maybe nothing happened with him, and now it's you're getting to see him actually, with some honor, and then that's got to be the end, right?
Yeah,
I think so. I
tell you one thing. I do want to see how he crawled out of the Sarlacc because he does not look well.
No, he doesn't. And how did he lose the armor? I mean, was it did the Sarlacc
right? Because I thought
Cough it up, yeah,
hook them both up or something?
I thought it was going to be a story that he gave up the armor for some reason, but no, he wanted it back. So it's okay, so what's the story then?
Well, maybe it was the sand dragon that ate the Sarlacc and then
maybe
both out or something.
Well, maybe when we saw what Mando did, that was kind of a hint on how Boba Fett got out of the.
That's what I thought that was. Yeah,
but you losing the armor's got to be a different story. Like I said, I feel like next episode we're going to get a lot of Boba Fett, and then we won't get the child story finishing up till the next one.
So yeah, and I think that's true too. And I think it comes down to what you were saying is he gave us this mysterious, cool character who, let's be honest, he didn't really do much.
In the waiting.
Right. He just kind of stood there and then took Han over to Jabba the Hutt.
He technically captures Han Solo, but Vader does the heavy lifting,
Right,
Hmm.
right. So,
literally and figuratively.
so this is the delivering on that promise of the cool character. I have a question though, because I've been watching. This is funny. I've been watching Toy Galaxy, and if anyone who out there watches Toy Galaxy knows, the host is a huge Boba Fett fan, like the original Kenner action figure fan. But he also did a whole episode where he talked about the original design of Boba Fett. And did you guys know that he was originally supposed to be all white?
No,
Yeah, it was just
I have seen that design though.
Yeah, it was originally like just like a stormtrooper type costume, but different design, like all white, like the stormtroopers. And then for some reason, the person who was in charge of costumes, they decided like, no, that didn't work. He didn't stand out at all, so they changed the color scheme.
They changed it to battle damage color scheme, and it works.
It works great. And it's probably a Lucas decision now that I think about it.
Yeah, and it adds mystery to him because it's like this guy's in this cool armor and it's got damage, so he's seen action, like what's going on here. But yeah,
here's something I've always wondered: is the armor is different colored than Jango Fett's armor? But we're led to believe he just takes his father's armor.
He said that in the episode.
It is. He does say that. But at what point did it get painted? Because that's not the color of Jango Fett. Jango Fett is not green and red.
Well, it was it? No,
No. He looks more like the Mandalorian.
Yeah, no, that's true. And also you think about this, that he because the Kenner figure, that was what they were led to believe the design was going to be, and everyone knows he's got the mismatched gauntlets. One was yellow, one was red, which makes you think like he replaced parts along the way. But did his get so scratched up at one point he got tired of looking at the scratches and decided to paint it? Did he get tired of being confused with his father, so he painted it? Like there could have been.
There's a lot. I think I think next episode we're gonna have to get a little bit of a background info dumpish Boba Fett episode, because there's a lot of unanswered questions, like 40 years worth of unanswered questions.
Yeah.
When it comes to this character, and goddamn, I want some answers now.
That's a good question for our audience too. Do you guys want answers?
I don't care what they want. I care what I want.
And what do you guys think of the show so far? Let us know in the comments below, because we want to know. All right. On that note, we're going to take our first commercial break, and we'll be right back. Don't give me video to edit out. All right.
Don't edit it. It's funny.
All right.
The superhero speak video experience gets you on a visceral level.
We're back, boys and girls, and we're going to do something we haven't done in 2 weeks. Social media madness. Speaking of our fans and what they think.
We could have got another week without it.
Oh, you're going to upset people. You know that?
That joke hits different on video.
Yes, it does.
Comes with a visual gag.
So we had talked about, of course, Zack Snyder already hinting at Justice League 2. It actually is trending. It was trending at one point on Twitter. Hashtag Justice League 2. And we had Samuel Isaac Daly, call me Sam, say, I'd like to see DC get rid of Snyder and still make a Justice League sequel. I don't know if the contracts would allow that.
I don't think Warner knows what their contracts allow right now. They're not, considering with the news we're going to have later on.
True.
Yes. Oh yeah, we're good. We'll get to that. And he also said, oh wait a minute, I accidentally put the same tweet in here twice. Did I mess up?
No, you said on Justice League 2. There are two different tweets.
No, it's not. It's the same tweet.
Is it? Oh.
All right. Because I did have another one related to this, but I don't have it now. I'm sorry, whoever the other person was. Oh, shoot. Let's get to the first one. I almost forgot. Poor Tim Jones. He's messaged me too to ask about this. He's chomping at the bit. We have not mentioned the poor guy
in almost 2 hours. I mean, really, how could we? I mean,
I haven't gotten to do a cheap sour grapes plug in weeks.
Weeks.
Well, you just solved your own problem.
I know. That's what I was doing. Weeks.
So we had talked about WandaVision being partially filmed in front of a live studio audience. And Tim Jones, creator of Sour Grapes, said, I think that is brilliant. I can't wait to see this show. Maybe we'll have Vision start to trip over an ottoman and phase through it.
It's actually a pretty good bit. I was going to make fun of it with a Sour Grapes plug, but I mean, that's actually a really good idea. I think they should actually do that.
They probably will. And if they don't, sorry, Tim. All right.
Good idea.
Then moving on, of course, we talked about Spider-Man 3 had started filming. The movie Graveyard said, Daredevil better show up.
I agree.
You think that's the way to bring him into the MCU?
Yeah, why not? Spider-Man gets in trouble, needs a lawyer. We all know they've already established Charlie Cox as Daredevil.
Yeah.
Works for me.
That would be cool.
It's how they brought him into the Hulk universe.
Yeah, this is true. Ocho Dora Parlay Hour podcast said, if all the rumored cameos are true, then the film won't come out till 2022.
Oh, I got into a spat on one of their Twitter feeds over the weekend.
Oh, really? Do tell.
The Japanese pro wrestling. Somebody tried to tell me I know what I'm talking about. I had to lay the law down.
With the guys from the podcast?
No, they're fine. They're cool. Like some of the dudes responding to it, they were fine. Was it theirs or was it Bill and Span? It was like that guy was involved. I forget. But yeah, I had to lay down the law to know my extensive knowledge of Japanese wrestling. Tune in to High Tension coming soon.
I'll allow it. All right.
Thanks, man.
Then we also talked about, it's been confirmed that Sylvester Stallone will be in Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh my goodness.
He was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
He was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
The Suicide Squad.
And we asked our audience who they thought he would play. And of course, random Randy Savage of the Colt 45 podcast came in with Catman, old boxer turned crime fighter, and his wife was murdered at their Italian restaurant.
That is genius. Making him Ted Grant. Brilliant call, man.
Wildcat, right?
Yeah. No, that's Wildcat. Where's a Catman? I'm confused.
It's Wildcat.
There is a Catman though. There's
Catman. There is Catman, but Wildcat was the aging boxer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Catman is just like a mercenary.
That's right.
Yeah,
Catman was a villain. Wildcat was a hero.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Wildcat helped train
Black Canary.
Black Canary, yeah.
Yeah. Ted Grant's an awesome character. By the way, that is a great idea, bringing Stallone in to do that. I am a big fan of that call.
Yeah.
All right, Randy. I think that's a good one. All right. Of course, 2 weeks ago, we had the great George O'Connor on the show, talking about his book, Charlie's Spot. I believe JD got in trouble for that one. And
oh, yeah, I did. Yes.
A big shout out to him. He was happy. He said, massive thanks to Superhero Speak for their support and signal boosting Charlie's Spot. He did hit his goal. And I just wanted to point that out.
I want to point out that he not only did he hit his goal, he hit his biggest goal ever. Like, this was the biggest funding goal he ever had. Like, he made the most on this, and he had his most number of backers. So this overall, the most successful Kickstarter campaign my friend George has ever run. Really proud of him.
That's great.
And then
I'm very curious about this book. It's going to be super unique.
Yes. I said I read it. I loved it. So, I mean, can't get any better than that. And then finally, Pizza and Parsecs gave us a shout out that I liked, and I wanted to thank them on the air. Symptoms, drowsiness, lackluster playlist, The Cure, Superhero Speak. Listen as often as you can.
Is that because we put people to sleep if they're just drowsy? we come in and finish the job?
We wake them up. We're fun and exciting and woo.
May cause indigestion or diarrhea or abdominal pain.
Much like the COVID.
Yes.
So I like that, even though we have fun. I'm not following them, and I'm listening to Dave and Liv, husband-wife duo, nerding out on Star Wars, Harry Potter, and DC Comics. I'm gonna give these people a follow. I want to check out their show. Oh, I do this a lot. You praised us. Come on our show and praise us to our face.
Yes. Yep. Oh, you mentioned Harry Potter. Harry Potter and Luke Skywalker just had an epic rap battle. So,
I beg your pardon?
Epic rap battle. Have you ever heard of?
Yes, I thought you were talking about their epic racks, and I didn't know where to go from there. I was so perplexed.
Okay, look, the Zoom, the Zoom connection isn't that bad. Seriously.
You stuttered.
Epic rap battles of history.
I heard an epic rack battle, and I was like, yeah.
Oops. Well, that wouldn't be the main characters. It'd be some of the supporting.
The supporting go. Hey. Oh. Losing nerd points all night tonight.
Yes. If you want to be part of this fun,
no, you don't.
Social media madness.
Dude, get a better hobby.
Here's our good friend D Squared to tell you
you
can get more Superhero Speak.
Enjoying the show? Want to be part of social media madness? Make sure you are following superheroespeak.com, where you can find all of the show's social media links at the top of the page. While you're there, you can check out old episodes of the podcast as well as some other great content. Check the site often because we are posting some great comic reviews as well as comic book and movie news content every day. Make sure and follow us on Twitter at SuperheroSpeak. And while you're there, check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. You can follow them at @stars_geek. The Geek World All-Star Podcast Network include great programs such as the Pop Prison Power Podcast, Cult 45, So Wizard, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, and of course, Superhero Speak. Search for #GWAllStars. You will not be disappointed. Now it's back to Dave and the boys on Superhero Speak.
Can't say we don't have fun.
No, not at all. All right. We have some news this week. Some actual news worthy talking about.
Some generational defining news.
Yep.
I'm surprised I got super surprised when this happened, and I'm still a little blown away in the aftermath of it.
So, of course, we're talking about the big news that came out this week. Warner Brothers has announced that their entire slate of 2021 movies will debut on HBO Max alongside with cinemas. This includes, of course, we all know Wonder Woman 1984. We've got the Judas and the Black Messiah, Tom and Jerry, Godzilla versus Kong, Mortal Kombat,
Matrix 4,
Denzel's Washington's The Little Things.
These are not small movies.
Oh no.
And I might
Space Jam: A New Legacy.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad.
I might add that not only are we all surprised, but apparently so are the directors, the actors, the producers, the actual the studios. They were all blindsided by this.
Not to mention AMC, Regal Cinemas.
Yeah.
So, okay, before we get into that, I will say Warner Brothers, from a business standpoint, this makes sense because it's going to be a while before cinemas get back to full capacity and before everything gets back to normal. And so, and they need people to sign up for HBO Max. This is the ultimate way to get people to do that. Like, let's be honest, right? Like, they're not stupid. So what does that mean for 2021 in movies? I don't know. And the thing is, will they keep it going? I don't see them doing it. Like, I see them doing this just through 2021 to build up a subscription base and make money. But then once 2022 hits, they're going to want their tentpole movies just in the theater again.
Well, HBO Max might not be around till 2022 because the studios and like the Actors Guild might wind up suing them, suing WB for all of the lost money, because some of these contracts include like writers where and Dave and I were talking about this before, where like Gal Gadot makes an extra 10 million if the box office gross is a certain amount. Well, now they've pretty much guaranteed that's not going to happen, which can be, you know, I'm sure the lawyers will find a way to make that a complete breach. I mean, it probably is a legal breach of contract in some fashion. And that's not just them, but the you know, the directors and everybody, like everybody involved. The studios are going to be pissed.
What's probably going to happen with those incentive-based things is there'll probably be some litigation filed, and I imagine Warner will wind up settling.
Yeah.
So they'll wind up getting, because it's going to cost everyone a lot more money to drag this out than it's probably going to be worth for anyone.
It could be worth up to $2 billion. I don't know how they're going to settle for that.
It depends, man. I mean, like, this we talked about earlier about, like, remember we were saying, well, they have to release them because of their contracts. It's interesting to me that all of a sudden Warner can just go, fuck them, you know, like, no contracts. It just doesn't make it. As a fan, I'm happy, but the business person in me is like, man, if Warner had made this decision in March, they don't have to fire 60% of their staff.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of bloodletting going on at that company, and it all is tied into the botch of HBO Max. So, and what's interesting too is I wonder if they left money on the table, because Disney made Mulan, you know, exclusive to the network, but you had to pay extra. And they said the experiment worked, but it didn't make a killing. So I wonder if HBO Max didn't make a mistake by not adding another tier onto there and making it pay-per-view via HBO Max. Like, could they have squeezed another $5 or $6 at everybody?
Well, HBO already has a problem with, like, what? There's HBO Plus, HBO
Max, HBO Go,
HBO Omega, HBO Alpha. I mean, you know, it's just like they've already got so many tiers that people are really confused over what they, you know, what they want. I think the same execs that made that boneheaded decision in March to let go of all these people without doing something about it first, they're the same ones that made this decision to blindside everybody with this. And I mean, they, like, every turn they make is putting them more in jeopardy. It's not really helping.
It's a huge gamble. Huge. They're gonna, I mean, like, especially because remember when Disney came out, everybody, like, the projections, like, yeah, Disney's doing all right, and they're killing everybody. Like, they're doing great, but the projections were like it would be more. So I mean, the fact that HBO Max hasn't, I think we talked about this a year ago on this show, saying, like, we're about to reach, like, a watershed moment. We've reached it and it's over. Like the consumer said, enough is enough. We can't afford all these apps. So now you're seeing, like, we were joking before the show started about Quibi. Like, that was, you know, that's gone. You know, DC Universe gone.
Yeah.
Like, HBO Max is kind of on its last leg, which is funny because HBO is still producing, like, quality content. And they weren't really ready. And I got a buddy that used to work for, I'll keep his name quiet. He used to work for Warner Media and lost his job in wake of all this. It was talking about, like, that it was well prepared, but they just made so many wrong assumptions based on consumer trends that it's just absolutely killed their business. Like, this is it for Warner, man. They have to make this work.
Yeah. And it seems, I will say that it definitely seems like they put all of their eggs in the HBO Max basket now. And yeah, we'll see. I mean, and who knows? In 6 months, by June, they might change their minds and stop releasing them on HBO Max. Who knows? You know, like this isn't a promise or a guarantee. It's just, oh, we made this announcement, but if it's not working out for them, they might turn and go, you know what?
Well,
We're not going to do this.
At some point, they got to make a decision, go with it though, because if they keep changing their minds and keep making these extreme left turns, that uncertainty will kill this too.
It's going to hurt their stock price too, because that's going to teach investors that the company has no idea what they're doing.
Right.
If they keep making these left turns, that's going to really depreciate the value of the company.
Isn't that? But isn't that the nature of the world we're currently in? Is the landscape has changed entertainment-wise so much?
Yes.
That none of these companies that have been around for decades know what they're doing and how to navigate it.
Well,
I mean,
apparently
this
Disney
is what
does. I mean,
this is what happened with the music industry and record companies. 2 decades ago. It's now happening to movie. And you know what's funny? A lot of people that worked in the music industry said this is going to happen to the movie industry.
It's happening in the publishing industry too. Bertelsmann bought out Random House, Bertelsmann bought out Random House last week. Like we're seeing contraction in these big monolithic corporations that have ruled over things for so long. And it's it goes back to like when Walmart wiped out all the shopping center chains in the 80s and 90s. Like this is just like this is the nature of business. This is what we all signed up for in capitalism. Like if you can't run your business, if you can't see far enough ahead to keep your business running, you're gonna go by the wayside. Just today, I drove by the Sears Center Arena in suburban Chicago, and it's now called the Now Arena. And I made that. I got 1,000 jokes on my Twitter feed. One of the most successful tweets I posted in months. Who knew? But Sears, the former Sears Roebuck, is like on its last legs. It's dying. Yep. Like JCPenney, it's dying.
Well, there's a difference between that and what's going like with
it is, but it isn't. It's still it's major corporations that can't adapt to the changing times. Like what causes those changes as different variables. But we're seeing this in all facets of business.
Yeah.
Where what the companies that dominated the 20th century are starting to die out.
Well, yeah, but let's take like the publishers, for instance. They kind of deserve to die because for the longest time, YouTube now. That's okay. For the longest time, they were a chokehold on what you could read. And,
zero.
Yeah, but now with all with the internet, basically anybody can publish themselves on Amazon, on Kindle, or the Nook or something. So it's that's a little bit different than these big chains going on.
It is and it isn't. It's just like, again, it's the changing face of the market. It's not being able to see see down the road and make the appropriate changes when necessary. Because some companies are managing to thrive, others are not. Like we talk about Disney. Disney still it could be better, but they're still far ahead of the game of everybody else that isn't Netflix.
Right.
Or Amazon Prime, like they've made the proper adjustments. They have the catalog to do it. Warner on paper should, but they
keep messing up. Like you're right, they do. And if they put everything on HBO Max when it first came out, we wouldn't be having this discussion.
But is that not Warner corporate culture going back for the last 30 years? Like we all heard those stories, the famous Kevin Smith, John Peters stories about the making of Superman.
Oh yeah.
Like this is Warner Brothers. This is kind of what they do. Like it's never been the most functional studio. It isn't. Like look at DC, like the history of DC Comics, not just them as an apparatus of Warner Media. Like I can quote you WCW, the same thing. Like it's just this strange corporate culture that has sprung up and seems to permeate through it over the last 40 to 50 years in some cases.
Yeah, well, they're doing so bad now. They even let the Warner Brothers and the Warner sister out again. I mean, geez,
And put it on. Okay, that's a great example. Where is that show? Mm-hmm. This is a great example. That show's on. I'm watching it. It's on Hulu.
Why is it on Hulu? Right.
Because Hulu, that just shows you how slapdash this was. Like they made the deal with Hulu in 2018. It's 2020. That's only 2 years. Why is Sandman going to be on Netflix?
Yeah.
Like, why are they still licensing out their property? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Which, you know, because you just said it wasn't slapdash, but it makes it feel like it was.
Oh
like,
no, I think it absolutely was slapdash. I meant to say it was slapdash.
Well, the way they're making these decisions, you know, it basically upholds what you're saying, because you know, it's like every time you open up a browser, it's like, oh yeah, well, we're just gonna release everything on, you know, at the same time on HBO Max. Well, you know, we're gonna charge for this one, not charge for that one. You know, it's just like we just invited like 1,000 lawsuits from
how many times
major
we pontificated that? How many times have we said, "Oh, it would be great if HBO Max would just show Wonder Woman"? Like, but we all said, "Oh, it couldn't be done because of X, Y, Z." And now here we are, not only putting Wonder Woman, but they're saying, "Here's 2021." I mean, I get why they're doing it because, you know, let's be honest, the vaccine thing looks really good right now. Life in 6 months could be different, but is that going to repair the theater business to where it needs to be?
I don't know. I don't think, like I said in the beginning, I don't think it's going to be. It's going to be a long time before everyone's comfortable to go back to the theater. So,
well, if I ever want to go back to the theater, I really like watching TV on my couch. It turns out
they're saying that Wonder Woman may lose money.
What's that?
They're saying that Wonder Woman may lose money.
Oh, definitely. Like,
I don't see how it doesn't.
Exactly. Like, especially coming out in December. Like, we're still in lockdown in a lot of places. Like, no, like, I'm sorry, it's
in all places. This is.
But I'm just saying, it's like, all I'm saying is that people are going to watch. That is going to be watched on HBO Max. That is not going to be watched in the theater.
And they're not. I don't think that not putting an extra price tier on this is the right move. Like Disney spent a lot less to make Mulan, and I don't know if it's been announced that they're going to do this again in their future. If they're going to make all their direct to Disney stuff, direct to Disney Plus stuff, that's that special price tier or not. But I think Warner made a mistake by not trying it with Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I would have paid $20 to watch it.
My wife said my wife doesn't like spending money, and she said I paid $20 to watch Wonder Woman. We paid $20 to watch Onward on Amazon Prime, and a week later it was on Disney Plus, and we were like, WTF, man? I just paid $20 for that. But like we talk about the slapdash nature of, and I get it, 2020. That's all.
People are going to pay that much to watch that YouTuber, what's his name, fight Floyd Mayweather or whatever.
Oh God!
Do you know how boring that fight is going to be? Floyd Mayweather he's not a knockout guy. He's going to drag that thing out as many rounds as possible, and then probably do enough just to win, unless the kid really pisses him off, and then he'll knock him out.
Because he could walk right up and slug him. That'd be the end of the 3 seconds after the bell rings.
But there's a couple, I think it was like 2 million buys for Tyson Roy Jones, like that freak show. Like it made a killing because everybody went, "Oh, I got to see this." Like I said, I'm right with Fight Game. Everybody but me watched it. I had no interest in watching it, but almost everybody I know bought the thing.
Yeah. Logan Paul. That's the one. That's the guy. He's got a very punchable face too. So Mayweather may just
he's
take
a
him
little.
out.
Both those little shits, like they both need to get it out. I can't believe it was the brother, right? It was Jake Paul.
Yeah.
That knocked out Nate Robinson, which I mean just goes to show, just because you're a good athlete and you don't know how to throw a punch doesn't mean you're gonna win. Jake Paul knocked him unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a little piece of garbage. So I mean, it's a damn shame that kid won't get in the ring with a real fighter. But his brother's going to get in the ring with the greatest, literally one of the greatest pound for pound boxers in history.
Yeah.
Like, it's talk about freak shows.
Yeah, but they're both going to be, no matter how it goes, they're both going to be paid a couple $1 million. So
hey, Roy Jones Jr. doesn't get out of bed without getting paid. Like, the man's a business genius when it comes to that.
Speaking of freak shows, moving on. Okay, I don't get this. This is another Warner Brothers thing. I don't have an issue with because it's a character that no one really cares about. I just have an issue with them still saying Plastic Man in the press releases. So apparently, Kat Vasco, who has written for the Blacklist TV show, has been hired to pen a female-centric Plastic Man movie. So,
Oh my god.
like,
Oh,
again, I don't
DC, please.
I don't have an issue.
Stop.
I don't have an issue. You want to gender bend Plastic Man? I guess. Like,
Well, Plastic Man could gender bend. I mean, he's
Plastic Man could gender bend himself. Exactly.
He has.
But like they keep saying Plastic Man, like, and I guess I get it. That's the character, and that's what's recognizable. But it just seems like an interesting move. I don't know. What do you think, JD?
I have no interest in a Plastic Man, Plastic Woman, anything. The only time Plastic Man was interesting was that brief run that he had, and I believe it was Joe Kelly's Justice League run.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I can think to justify the gender bending is they don't want people to say, but they also don't want people to say, "Oh, you're just copying Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four."
I don't think it's been so long since we've had a Fantastic Four movie that anybody remembers. I don't think they're going to do that because Plastic Man's the first one, but
I think Robert Stibney on TV.
Yeah, that's true. But I just think they're just trying to create more representation. I have no problem with that, especially with a character like Plastic Man that nobody cares about Plastic Man. Who cares? Like, but that's my problem. That's the whole thing is nobody cares about Plastic Man. So it's just, I can't, just because they're making Plastic Man a woman doesn't make it more interesting to me.
Like, yeah, I mean, like when they used him in, I think, Super Friends, he was the comic relief. And that's kind of,
I don't even think he was on Super Friends. He had his own show.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
For a while.
Yeah.
And he was on Justice League Unlimited.
He was on Justice League Unlimited, where he was comic relief for like.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
One episode.
And Justice, was it the other one?
Brave and the Bold?
No.
Oh no, the Justice League Action. I think he's on that
Justice
one.
League Action. He was on there too.
I haven't gotten.
Yeah, again, but comic relief.
Yeah. Wait, that's where the character works well. He works well playing off of the more serious characters where he can be the one cracking a few jokes. Like they often use the Flash incorrectly, in my opinion, a lot in those Justice League stories. Plastic Man works for that. But I mean, like, let's be real. We live in a world where they don't want any comic relief in the Justice League movie. They want more blood and pain.
Apparently.
I'd like to see what Zack Snyder would do with Plastic Man.
Oh!
Did you ever see Hellraiser?
Yeah, I know. Oh, God.
There you go. Zack Snyder's plastic person.
Prepare for the pain.
Oh my God.
Your pain will shoot. I gotta quote Clive Barker properly now. Whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever, man. There's so much. They got to have so much stuff greenlit at once just to keep things going. Because again, they have to generate this stuff. They need to be making stuff. It's the only way they can make any money right now. So I get it. All these things have to be greenlit, or not even greenlit, but in some form of production. But I'll be very surprised if this movie ever comes out.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, that's another thing. Like people. I don't understand why people get up in arms about a character no one cared about until this announcement was made.
Who cares about Plastic Man?
Well, if Marvel were going to do it, come on, think about it. If Marvel were going to do it, if it were a Marvel property, then you'd be sitting there going, okay, well, they haven't missed yet. They've taken other obscure characters.
You're right.
And
they have a track record. Marvel has a proven track record.
Right.
He doesn't have a proven track record.
Right.
But what I was going to say is, like, everyone got up in arms at this announcement, and it's like, it's just an announcement of somebody writing a script. It doesn't mean the movie's going to get made. How many things has Warner Brothers announced in the DC universe that hasn't been made?
The vast majority.
They're trial ballooning it then, right? I mean, they just released quote unquote this information just to see what the popular opinion would be.
And I think they have the intentions of making stuff, but I mean, like, they keep pivoting their plans.
Yeah.
Like, remember we were gonna have a whole Zack Snyder Pan Justice League universe, and then they decided not to do that. Well, they decided to do that again. Problem is too is they've like I think in the last decade we've had like 3 different like regimes running Warner Media.
Yeah.
So it's not like there's a cohesive vision going on, like,
or it's the same guy with multiple personality disorder.
No, they keep firing people. Like the CEOs keep getting the ass because they're not doing a good job. Like,
So we both said, and John I think agrees. Who cares about Plastic Man?
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this or watching and you care about Plastic Man, let us know because we're kind of curious. Who cares?
Hey, I'm the son of Satan. I'm the son of Satan fan. Everyone's got a character that they're super into, so
yes.
I'd like to hear it.
All right, moving on. Apparently, it has been confirmed that Hawkeye has begun filming in New York City, of all places. There has been set photos released and whatnot. It has also been confirmed that I can't think of the actress's name is playing the female version.
Haley Steinfeld, the girl who played
yes,
Gwen Stacy in the Miles Morales movie.
That's right. Yes, we did talk.
She was also in Bumblebee, the Bumblebee movie.
Oh, that's right. She was the girl in Bumblebee.
Yeah,
yes.
She's really good. She's good. She's a good choice for Kate Bishop. I like this.
Yeah.
Yes. So it'd be interesting to see if this gets done and gets ever put on a Disney Plus, because we're still waiting for WandaVision. And
well, they're filming it. They're not gonna Disney doesn't let stuff just sit around unless it's New Mutants.
Yeah, I know.
Like
there was good reason for that.
Yeah, well, I'm still gonna see it. I can't pay 15 whatever.
No.
I have to wait till it's free. I have heard some people say it's not that bad. So you know me, the eternal optimist in me goes, really? Not that bad? So as soon as it's part of my Amazon Prime subscription, I'm going to watch it. But you buried the lead. Pizza Dog is in the movie. Like they've got Pizza Dog in the show. Like this seems like super leaning into the Aja Fraction version of Hawkeye, which I think is the best version of Hawkeye. So I'm excited, man. Those are really good books. Hopefully this works.
Yeah, I do want to see it because I want to see how they work his family into the whole thing. And
well, because that Clint doesn't have a family, and this Clint has
exactly
a family.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It makes it different, but that might not be a bad thing. Like I'm curious.
And that is a driving force for Clint in the MCU is his family, and I kind of think that's what the show is going to be about, is him wanting to retire to be with his family, because he tried to retire but feeling like he has to leave the mantle to someone, and that's where Kate Bishop comes in.
And this is what's cool about the Marvel MCU, where they've done things so well, is like the Ronin character, I don't think ever quite really made sense in DC, with Clint being the Ronin character.
You mean in Marvel?
I'm sorry, in Marvel. I'm so used to saying things don't make sense in DC.
Definitely didn't make any sense in DC.
Well, you're so used to saying DC doesn't make any sense, so it just rolls right off the tongue. No, I mean, like I didn't love that stuff, but I think they made it work a lot better in Avengers. Like it completely made sense in Avengers. So I could see him. You had 5 years without your family. You're given a second chance with your family. You don't want to. You really get to pick up right where you left off. So it makes sense to want to retire and to train your replacement, your successor. And Kate Bishop's a great character. I do wonder if we're going to get the young Avengers now, because we have the older Cassie Lang. We have this. I'm still convinced we're getting Wiccan and Speed after WandaVision. I mean, it seems like they're laying out the table right for Young Avengers.
I think that's
What about the kid from Iron Man 3 too, right?
Well, that's not a Young Avengers character, but you could.
I think
you could.
I think they're going to do him as Iron Lad. I think that's
good.
And so that's the whole thing. And I think that's the direction they're going to go. Instead of doing another Avengers movie, they're going to do a Young Avengers movie. And they can set up the next decade based on those characters. And it's funny because you made a really good point too, in the fact that I think Marvel took, in the MCU, they took characters like Ronin and Nomad, and they did them, but they did them as footnotes, because that's what they really should be, is footnotes to those main characters.
Absolutely.
We don't need a movie seeing Captain America as Nomad. We don't need a movie seeing Hawkeye as Ronin. Just mention it and show that they did it, but then that's it. I
don't think we need as many issues as we got of those characters in those roles personally, but it worked. Like I said, I do like that Marvel tips the cap at they tip the cap at their history without being overly fan servicey to it. Whereas I feel like DC kind of goes the other way sometimes. Like I always look at Green Lantern where they threw everything possible about the Green Lantern universe at you in 2 hours and 10 minutes. To the point where Sinestro puts on the yellow ring at the end. You're supposed to be like, that's cool. But why?
Yeah.
What does it mean? Like, you know,
They-
they just execute it better.
They rushed it just like they did everything else.
They
Yes.
did. No patience. They have no patience at DC. But you look at how they run things and you go, oh, I get it. The doors might not be open in a week.
So,
I'm being facetious for the YouTube commenters.
yeah,
yes.
you don't have to do anything. The two commenters take care of themselves.
Okay, so let's move on. We got two last stories here. Both are casting news. The first one hit me like a ton of bricks and took me by surprise. I did not see this coming. The one and only Peter Dinklage. Most many know him from Game of Thrones, of course. The
Knights of Badassdom.
Knights of Badassdom, Infinity War, and many other.
Game,
What's
you said Game of Thrones,
Days?
right?
Not Days of Future Past.
Oh, okay.
But of course,
He is an Infinity War. I forgot.
he is now
Yeah, as a giant.
as a giant,
A giant midget.
a giant dwarf.
Completely forgot about that.
He has now been cast as the lead in the reboot of the Toxic Avenger.
Knowing Peter
I-
Dinklage's sense of humor, this fits. I mean, I can see him going, yeah, sure, why not?
So anyone who is not familiar with the Toxic Avenger movies, they started out as a low budget horror film that gained a cult status.
And stayed as low budget.
Launched the entire trauma film universe, I guess you could call it.
The Trauma universe became a Saturday morning cartoon.
Toxic Crusader.
Toxic Crusader. And then the movies did a turn where he was less a horror character and more of a Avenger for the environment. And did take more of a comedic turn towards I think they made 6 of them altogether.
I'm not gonna lie, I've not seen more than 2 Toxic Avengers movies.
Yeah, someone could fact check me on that.
Just remember his brief cameo in RoboCop.
It's terrible.
Oh God.
No,
Anyway.
John's making terrible 35-year-old jokes.
Yes. So Peter Dinklage is an amazing actor.
He can be funny, he can be sad, he can be serious, he can literally do everything.
He's the heart of Game of Thrones.
So it makes me like, and I also kind of think like he's got to be in his career where he can choose what he plays, you know. So this has to be a really good script, which makes me go, oh, now I want to see this reboot.
Well, again, knowing his sense of humor, it could be a really bad, you know, Razzie award-winning script, and he's like, sure, let's do it.
This is gonna be terrible.
You think so?
Yeah, this is not in the spirit of what a trauma film is supposed to be.
Well, it's actually Legendary's doing this, not Trauma. So.
That's what I'm saying.
Legendary?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, Legendary films should not be doing the Toxic Avenger. Like, it's not.
They can barely
doesn't-
do a giant monster movie.
I like the first Godzilla. I thought that was all right.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the first Godzilla. No, it's not. This isn't right. Like, it just. I like Peter Dinklage. I like this stuff, but I mean, like, this isn't what the Toxic Avenger is supposed to be. Like,
Yeah.
I am color me more than suspect on this one. This is another one of those. I'll be surprised if it ever happens.
Yeah, no, I agree, but it's weird that he's already
Super weird.
that his name's attached to it.
Well, I mean, like, why wouldn't he say no? That's money. He probably got a pay for play contract, so he's getting paid whether it gets made or not. So
I have a question for the guys at Cult 45. If you're listening or watching, have you done the Toxic Avenger movies? Because if not, I want to be on one of those episodes. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. What do you think, John? You gonna watch it?
If Peter Dinklage is in it, I think it'll be fun. I mean, I'll get popcorn for that one.
I think they're going in a comedic twist with
You
it.
have
I'm
to.
not-
It's the Toxic Avenger.
I'm not gonna pay actual money for it, but if it's on a streaming service that I'm paying for, I'll watch it there. You know,
Right.
Based on our
If-
earlier conversations, it will be.
yeah, the way things are going.
All right. And then finally, speaking of movies that probably shouldn't be made, of
Oh dear God.
course, we talked about Oscar Isaac a couple weeks ago, and he got cast as Moon Knight. We all said that was probably excellent casting. And of course, now Sony is all set to make a Metal Gear Solid movie, and Oscar Isaac has been cast as the Solid Snake, who is the lead character in the game.
Solid Snake sounds like a bad euphemism.
So first off, have any of you played the game?
Oh,
No.
off and on over like the years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as if they have one of those giant robots in it, then maybe the actual Metal Gear. But if it's just going to be him, it's kind of redundant for a lot of other movies that have been out.
What I was going to say is, like, I don't think I've ever seriously played any of them. I may have played the first one.
It branches out, like it goes from the sneak around under a cardboard box thing to,
But what I was going to get is, like, most of the gamers I know are kind of like they like the first one, but then the series became like, oh, when there's nothing else to play, they
Mhm.
pick this up. It's not like, it doesn't have the diehard following of some other game series that are out there, like Assassin's Creed, which we all saw that movie, right? They had to disappoint movie fans and video game fans in one film.
Name one good video game movie.
I actually like the Sonic movie.
Okay, so
I'm gonna repeat
who's
that
our new
question.
host now?
Name one good video game. Like, okay, I'll get it. That's fine. But name like a movie that's like considered like, man, that was a
Swear,
good movie.
Wasn't there? No, I know there was a good one. I can't
Lay it
remember.
on me. I'm
I
waiting.
know. I'm trying to remember. I just
Super Mario Brothers. No.
no.
People seem to like-
That's
Okay,
the problem. There've been
People
so many
like
bad
the
ones.
first Mortal Kombat movie.
It's corny, but it's fun. Yeah, I'll agree
Yeah.
with that.
That and
I
it's
wouldn't know if I call it good, but it's like fun.
But it also, I think, is considered
Damn it.
one of the best
Yeah,
video game movies.
Yes.
And it's not even like a great movie, but it's still considered one of the top ones.
and I know people like The Witcher's show.
Well,
So-
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's a show.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's a long track record of really shitty video game movies. I just don't think this stuff translates very well.
Even The Rock in Doom.
Yes, that movie sucked.
Oh
It's
God.
terrible. That was in The Rock's like bad streak before he started.
Final Fantasy sucked. Warcraft.
There was a
sucked.
Final Fantasy movie. I didn't even know
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
It was all CGI. The
Yeah.
Spirits Within, and it had nothing to do with
With any of the
actual-
games.
It sucked. Mortal Kombat sucked. Warcraft sucked. Resident Evil was the first one was okay.
Okay, it's a zombie movie, but I mean, like, I don't know if it's good. It's a Paul W.S. Anderson movie. You get to watch his wife run around scantily clad and kill monsters.
Detective Pikachu.
I enjoy Detective Pikachu.
There
Yeah,
you
I
go.
mean, like, but I mean, at the same time, Pokemon is so much more than a video game.
True.
It is Shakespeare brought to life by Ryan Reynolds. Oh wait, no, how about Freeman? I heard that's not actually based on a real game though.
Tomb Raider or Tomb Raider, whichever. Take your pick. Which one?
They both sucked. I didn't see
Yeah.
the second one, but I'm gonna go with it sucked.
No, he's talking about the reboot, which was
Still,
Yes, that's what I meant.
based on the reboot of the games.
still sucks.
I don't know. Seeing Angelina Jolie in that cat suit in the second one, it raises it a little bit.
That's
Yeah, keep that stuff in your pants, man. We don't need to talk about that.
No? Okay. So
I mean, like, I don't know. Like I said, there's just a track record for video game movies not being very good.
Yeah.
And I think this is following a long time on a tradition.
yeah, no, you're right. So
Hey, good for Oscar Isaac. Make that money while you can.
Yep.
yes. I
Your
was gonna
grandson, your future grandson will need a boat.
say, maybe two. So, well, that's true. I mean, he's going to get paid either way, right? It's
I guarantee everybody. If I'm an agent right now, I'm making sure everybody is signing pay for play contracts.
yeah,
Like, you pay my client whether he makes the movie or not.
yeah. No, at this point,
Especially
you
if he's
have to.
Peter Dinklage.
Well, just because there's no guarantee any of these movies are going to come out in the
I'm
theater
saying.
and make money.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, writer gets paid for the script. He's gonna make money off it.
Yep.
If it means that much, pay the man, because they're getting greenlit based on having these stars attached.
Yep.
So pay for play, man.
All right.
Good for them.
Well, you, the listener, let us know what is your favorite video game movie.
Yes, tell your greatest lie.
Yes. And on that note, we're going to take our last commercial break. We'll be right back with our main topic.
The main event.
Yes, the main event. So
The Baba Yaga.
it is Christmas time. In fact, if we look at John, he's surrounded by lovely Christmas lights. And
You got a very Tim Burton's in Batman Returns thing going on behind you there.
Do I really?
Yeah, very much so.
well, speaking of Batman Returns, we're going to talk about
You
our three
Bump,
favorite Christmas movies.
Bump, set, spike.
I was going to say the wind-up penguins are right over there. So it's-
Doing your personal time is your own business, my friend.
So, John,
nice. Yeah.
since you're the most Christmassy of us all, you can go first.
I'm in my
What's your
office. It's not
What's
fair.
your number 3 Christmas movie of all?
Oh,
time?
Die Hard. No. It's like, there are so many to choose from that. Let's see. For number 3, I'm gonna piss everybody off with this, and I'm gonna love it. Number 3, I'm going to go with the Rap City Street Kids Believe in Santa.
What? I don't
It
even know
is-
what is that?
It is the worst. Okay, probably the second worst. Actually, it vies for the worst Christmas movie ever. It
Ooh,
was
Is it?
it was made in the days when CGI was brand new. And it just you ever see that song "I Want My MTV," the video for it?
Oh yeah. The Dire Straits video.
Yeah,
Money for nothing.
the characters in this movie are even worse than that,
So
and the dialogue sucks, and the whole story sucks, and it's one of those things that's so bad you just sit there. Like I'd sit there with my brother and we would just like drink and laugh at it the whole time.
if it wasn't for the So Wizard podcast, I would think John was making this up. But
I've
they
never
do
heard of this.
They do a segment called "I Hate You Now Watch," where they pick really bad movies
I know of this segment.
and they make the others watch it to review it. And there are actually a couple Rap City Kid movies, and
Yep.
Joe made them watch one of them on an episode.
Yeah, Rap City spelled RAPSITTIE, not CITEY. Anyway, but yeah,
Or
Rap City's,
City.
and of course they do rap in it because it was
The 90s.
yeah, the look on your face, that's basically your first, and then you take a couple of drinks of good vodka or something.
I was a child in this era. How have I never heard of this?
because they were that bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were like, I mean, really, really, really bad. Like,
And that's your third favorite Christmas movie.
Because, well, me and my brother are the kind of guys that we would sit down and watch Neil Breen movies because they're fun. Because they're fun to make fun of.
If it's a family thing, I get it. Oh, okay.
Okay. I told you I was gonna piss everybody off with this.
Piss.
JD, how about you?
My number 3 is a movie that I've really grown fond over more so in the last 2 years because I've rewatched it with my son a bunch. It was one of my favorite animated movies when I was a little kid. I remember it's one of the first movies I saw in the theater as a little kid. And like it introduced me to a time-honored story, but in my head when I hear this story, I always think of this adaptation. And my number 3 is going to be Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Oh,
I
okay.
love that. I love that movie, and my little guy loves it too. It's a nice little morality play. It introduced the mainstream to Scrooge McDuck, and which launched DuckTales. And like, I think it's actually one of the best It's one of the best, well done, well cast adaptations of A Christmas Carol.
Yeah,
That's like, I guess to your generation, that's like our Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
I like Rudolph too, but I mean, yeah, this was, like I said, this is one of the first things I remember my mom taking me to as a little kid. So it's got special memories there. And now I'm watching it with my son, and he really likes it a lot. And it's just, it just does it for me. It gets me in the right feels.
Cool.
Okay. My number 3 is another Christmas Carol adaptation that I will echo it for the same kind of reasoning. I remember sitting around the house the first time we watched this because we had it on VHS and watching it with my dad and him laughing hysterically and loving the movie. And of course, that's Scrooged, Bill Murray Scrooged. Yeah, I mean, it's fun, it's funny.
Had a lot of comedians in it too.
Yes, it still has the same moral story as The Christmas Carol, but just done in a modern, funny way. And and it's just the memory of watching it with my dad when I was a kid.
That's actually one of my favorite versions of the Ghost of Christmas Future is in that movie. Like, it's really well done. It's a really well done movie. It could have been Bill Murray just cashing a check, which he did do that a lot in that era.
Oh yeah.
But there's a nice heart in this movie.
Yeah. And he was the only one that could have done that too. I don't think anybody else could have done that character quite that way in that movie.
Yeah.
Bill, maybe Eddie Murphy. Something similar.
I know. Wasn't that around the time he was doing Norbert or?
No. This is late '80s, man. We're talking peak Eddie Murphy here.
Yeah, we're talking Beverly Hills Cop. Yeah, Eddie Murphy. Yeah.
This is the same year Coming to America came out.
Yeah.
The greatest comedy ever created, but I like Scrooge a lot too.
All right, John, you're number 2. I'm afraid to ask.
Well, I mean, I so many to choose from: Home Alone, Charlie Brown Christmas. But I think I will go with. See, this is hard because my number 2 and number 1 are pretty much like on the same level. But I'll go with the Star Wars Christmas special.
Dude, you didn't take this seriously at all.
Wait, hold up. I'm calling foul for 2 reasons.
Calling foul. Yeah,
Number 1, which one?
It definitely is foul.
Are you talking the original or the new one?
The new
Lego one.
Fun.
Original, of course.
And 2, it's not a Christmas, it's Life Day, and they call it the holiday special, not the Christmas special.
I am one of the few people on the earth that actually watched that live.
So I don't know. Judges? JD, you're the judge.
No, not JD the judge.
I'll allow it because it's on brand for O'Grady. So we'll let it slide because it's right. It's perfect with him, and it doesn't give me a moment to talk about it myself. So,
which would be what
the hell is B. Arthur doing? What is up
she
with
was
Tim
the best part of that, though.
What is Tim Conway doing? Do we really watch Chewbacca's grandfather essentially masturbate to Donna Summer? Like,
there goes
these
our
are
YouTube.
Things that actually happens. And Jefferson Starship, the best version of that band, by the way. Like, Jefferson Airplane sucks. Starship is horrible. Jefferson Starship, they find a nice medium. But why am I watching them? What is happening here? None of it makes any sense.
Oh,
and they got the real cast.
Yeah, And Han Solo.
Oh, and I'm sorry, and Carrie Fisher is drunk or high through that entire thing.
She was, and was Han Solo. God damn it,
Harrison Ford.
He's cashing. You can tell he's just.
Oh, I disagree. No, I disagree. I actually think that he is out there doing a workman-like performance. Like he is out there being Han Solo. Like Mark Hamill is totally cashing a paycheck, but Harrison Ford, because he's good in everything, and even in the Star Wars Holiday Special, he's being Han Solo. Like I'll disagree with you on Harrison Ford. Mark Hamill, yes.
Yeah,
well,
he's cashing a check.
Yeah. Oh, but again, first look at Boba Fett.
This is true. Many people forget about that cartoon.
It holds an important place in the Star Wars mythos. Because I remember the first time I watched it was in the early 2000s when you had to like track that thing down and find like someone
on VHS.
Someone willing to sell you a pirated version at a comic book store at a convention.
They gave it to you in a brown paper bag.
Yeah, I didn't know about the Boba Fett thing until I was watching it, and I was like, "What is this?"
So here's a question that has been posed. I've heard many times. I just recently heard on another podcast. Why come everything Star Wars is available on Disney Plus, except the holiday special?
Because George Lucas wouldn't sell it.
Exactly. I'll bet you Lucas put a rider in saying that will never be released.
He said that if he had the time and inclination, he would smash every single VHS with a sledgehammer. That is a direct quote from George Lucas. And I get it. It's that bad.
But if he had owned it, it would have been much better for him. Now everybody like razzes him for it, but it's still
if he took a paycheck. Like he also can. He's like CBS money, sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, back then.
Yeah, he was busy working on both Raiders of the Lost Ark and Empire Strikes Back. And when that comes out, he's like, "What did I do?"
I'm sure that Christmas special helped pay for Empire Strikes Back.
At that point, he wasn't having a hard time finding a loan to make that movie. Star Wars was the #1 movie of all time at that point.
It's the first movie where people were wrapped around the block. It's the first time you had to wait to buy tickets.
Hence the need for a holiday special.
Yeah.
What were they thinking? What?
Whip.
So here's the funny part. I was just talking to my wife about this. Do you know what the real function of the Star Wars Holiday Special is? It is a back door to get us to Return of the Jedi, because Return of the Jedi is supposed to be the Rebels team with the Wookiees to fight them off. But George Lucas always goes, with all the stuff to do with Chewbacca, I just couldn't make his people like that primitive. BS. He hated the Holiday Special that much and created Ewoks.
Yep.
Because they live in the treehouse that looked almost identical to the Forest Moon of Endor.
Yep.
That's what that truly is.
That should have been It should have been Krishik, not Endor.
Yep. That's the true function of it, and they dropped the ball. Never has a Star Wars ball been dropped so hard. Think about that.
Well, JD, what's your number 2?
It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, okay. Is that actually a Christmas movie?
Yes, 100%.
Oh,
Takes
God,
place during Christmas. If you have to question that, my third one will really go not over well. No, I love this movie. I know it became super, especially when I was a kid, it became super cliche because some idiot in a office forgot to renew the copyright on it. So it was literally, some of you young kids might not realize, but over Christmas, it used to be on Christmas, like Eve especially, it was on every single channel. And that is not an over exaggeration.
That one in Miracle on 34th Street.
Yes, it was on, and they had no copyright, so anybody could screen It's a Wonderful Life. And now it's not quite so bad because NBC has managed to break copyright law, and Universal now owns it. So Comcast, so your overlord, owns It's a Wonderful Life, and we only get it once a year. That being said, it's a classic movie, a great Christmas story in the tradition of A Christmas Carol. Except this time we find a down and out guy who really thinks his life doesn't matter. And what better time to learn that all men truly do matter than on the holidays and on Christmas, which is actually one of the loneliest times of the year for people. I think it's a great story.
Yeah. All right. I'll allow it.
Thank you. He gets the holiday special. I get It's a Wonderful Life.
Hey, he took it seriously, Dave. You have to allow it.
All right. So my number 2, again, tied to childhood memories. It will always be my favorite, the original, not the live action and not the current remake. And of course, that is The Grinch That Stole Christmas.
Oh yeah, no, the original.
I mean, who among us here doesn't remember being a kid and waiting to watch that, at Christmas time?
We watch it almost every day this time of year on my little buddy's his Kindle Fire. He loves that show, and he likes the new adaptation too. But he calls it the old Grinch because he gets spooky. He gets that spooky look on his face.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I mean, and for the time that it was made, and I don't know. I just to me there wasn't anything else like it when I was a kid. It always stuck out in my memory. It stood on its own.
You have two geniuses of their profession. You have Chuck Jones working with Dr. Seuss. What could go wrong?
Yes.
Nothing. That's the answer.
Yes, exactly.
Actually, if you buy it on Amazon Prime, which we have, you also get the follow-up story, which Andy won't let us watch. And it's The Cat in the Hat meets the Grinch, which sucks.
Okay.
And then even worse, you get Halloween is Grinch Night, which also sucks.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, there's a reason you don't know it's.
Yes.
Okay,
Nobody wants to.
It's not very good. My 4-year-old hasn't dawned on him yet. He thinks it's awesome because he says, "Daddy, Halloween is great, and there's the Grinch." So he's like, "What's not to love?" And I have to let him have it.
Eventually, you'll have to break his heart.
I've already done that many times.
Oh, okay. All right. Yes.
Mommy won't let him watch The Mandalorian, so Daddy has to give him a blow-by-blow of what happens on the show every week.
Oh, no, yes. It is a little violent.
It's not right. It's a little much for a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I'll watch it at lunchtime during the day, and then I'll talk to my daughter and be like, "Have you guys watched it yet?" And she's like, "No, we got to wait for the girls to go to bed before we can watch." I'm like, she's like, "Yeah, it's a little much for a 2-year-old." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
You can get away with stuff with a 2-year-old because they don't know this. No, 2, they kind of know what's going on. Yeah, they know what's up. 1-year-old, you can get away with that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, 2-year.
All right. I'm really afraid to ask. I'm quaking in my boots here.
It's Black Christmas, isn't it? You're gonna say Black Christmas.
I had that on my list. I did.
I know you too well,
John. What is your number 1 favorite Christmas movie?
I mean, honestly speaking, like if I were to go to a sentimental route, I would have said Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or Charlie Brown Christmas. Santa Claus is Coming to Town, right? Claymation or the Charlie Brown Christmas. Everybody knows that one, or it could have gone, a little bit funnier, Gremlins. But lately, when I've been spending a lot of the past few years, I've been spending Christmas with my sister, and they watch this movie every Christmas. And for some reason, it is still funny, and I have come to love it. Elf.
It's a good movie.
It's a really good movie. Yeah.
But Black Christmas, no. No, yeah, Elf. No, Elf. I mean, like, there's I mean, in the 60s and 70s, like, was it Frosty the Snowman, all the claymation ones, just all of the what are called classics now, they all had this feel to them, and they're still trying to make new Christmas movies and try to capture that feel, and they just do not have it. But Elf somehow did. So
Elf is the movie that first proved that Jon Favreau is a genius filmmaker.
Oh, well, I've forgotten it is Favreau. That makes complete sense.
But yes, I agree with, again, oh my God, I agree with John twice.
A weird show.
Yeah.
A lot of modern, well, come on. 2020 wasn't a proof of that. I don't know what is.
Knock, knock, knocking on Satan's door.
With all modern Christmas movies, they have a tendency to either go way too hokey. The actors that are in it are just signing paychecks, and yeah, they don't work. But this is a movie that knows when to steer into the hokiness and when to like have heart. And
yeah, no,
and all the actors are committed to the roles. No one's like, yeah, I'm just here.
and let's go. I mean, let's look at who's in there, right? Like Zoe Deschanel, she's always actually quirky, right? But you know, singing and just, you know, nice to look at.
What a singing voice.
Yeah, I know. But so James Caan is in it, who
Yes.
can do funny serious. Mary Steenburgen, who's an amazing actress. Bob Newhart, for crying out loud, and Peter Dinklage again.
Oh yeah,
That's right.
I forgot.
Right?
He's the publisher, right? That they're trying to get the deal with, or the writer.
Amy Sedaris. I mean, like you could go on. Just like there's literally nobody in here that was not famous
And
at
it
the
might
time,
be,
or still is.
It might be Will Ferrell's last really good movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Lego Movie, but that's not real.
No, he's got good movies. It's one of his best though. It's a movie that on paper shouldn't have worked. It should have been an absolute disaster. But Favreau has this amazing heart on him that nobody outside of Spielberg really has, as far as like boiling a movie down to like its pure essence and its heart without getting like schmaltzy. And like, I don't like Elf as much as everybody else does, but I like it. I think it's a good movie. I think Will Ferrell just can be a bit much sometimes, but I like everything about it. Like it's an enjoyable movie.
And that's the thing. I don't like Will Ferrell usually either, but this, I guess Favreau like tamped him down.
Yeah.
And then got enough takes out to get the heart out. I mean, it just worked.
Which is really shows you what a good director he is. Because when you see Will Ferrell dressed as an elf, you think it's going to be like a Saturday Night Live skit, which works great in 2-minute increments.
Right.
But like when you think about it, 90 minutes of that should be excruciating. But Will Ferrell is directed really, really well. And for a grown man pretending to be a childish elf, he plays the role fairly subdued for most of it. And it shouldn't work, but it does.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like the movie's really an achievement for like, again, how this whole thing got greenlit. I have no idea, but it worked.
And it's a classic. I mean,
it is. It's become a classic. Yeah. It really has.
All right. Now, JD.
There, you see, Dave, I did a nice thing.
Yes. Bravo to you. Bravo to you for not scaring us with your number one.
Say, John, remember that list of movies you just read off? One of them is my number one.
Uh-oh.
Gremlins.
No, that's good.
What?
Gremlins is my favorite Christmas
That's
movie.
your number one?
Yes, and I'll explain why. Again, my mom took me to see this movie in the theater in 1984. Gigantic mistake, because I was Andy's age. I could not imagine taking Andrew to see this movie.
God, the guts.
Michelle has already said, no, you will not show the child this film. That being said, this is the first scary movie I ever saw, but I don't remember being scared of it. Like I had my Mugwai, my Gizmo stuffed animal with me. I'll never forget this. And like I wore, like there's t-shirts of me in 84 with Gremlins stuff on them. So it's a movie that's always been close to me. And as I've gotten older, it's really influenced a lot of like the kind of stuff that I would do as a creator. Like a lot of like the things that are done in Gremlins is a lot of what I do as a writer. And like what I really like about Gremlins is it's a great critique on Americana in the 80s, right? It's a story of commercialism run amok. It's a story of Americans being afraid of innovation from a foreign country and why that's ridiculous. And it's a great take on what's wrong with our society and putting it with a Christmas backdrop, but then having that Spielbergian quality of the family coming together to save the day really, really makes it work. Like it's Joe Dante's best film, and he's got some really good horror comedies. And what I like about this era of film in general, the entire horror comedy genre, is there's funny stuff, but it's not played for laughs. Like everything's played super seriously, but there's comedic elements of it, which is lost by the time we get to Gremlins 2. Like that's all comedy.
Yeah.
But Gremlins is a movie about a family who's trying to one up Christmas, right? And in that quest, he gets his kid this pet that no one else has, and it turns into a complete disaster. But it's at the same time, it doesn't steer into the hard horror. It's not gory. It's not, ghoulies or critters and stuff that would be influenced by it. It really is a story that focuses on family and love, and the love you have for your kids, the love you have for your parents, and the love you have for your pets. When it really, and at the end of it, it really, in my mind, it lays close to the Christmas story. Like, it's the disaster that the holiday, it's a great metaphor for the disaster the holidays can be. Like, and it plays it straight, and it's a great little warning. And it's also, it's more heartfelt than it should be. And it's one of my favorite movies. I watch it every Christmas. And it has Darling Love's Baby Please Come Home, which is my favorite Christmas song. Did I justify it enough to you to make it sound like I wasn't just having a gag?
Yeah.
I really do. I love that.
Yeah, no, because if John had picked it, I would have known it was just a gag. But
I didn't pick those as just a gag. I mean, like, I genuinely,
the holiday special, I do not believe you. Or the Rhapsody movie. The Rhapsody movie I get. The holiday special, I think you're messing with us still.
No, it's like one of my most, I mean, again, I am old enough that I actually sat down and watched that live. And
how much therapy did it force you into?
Well, it did make me wonder about what the hell was going on with Grandpa. I mean, I was 8.
I chose a horror movie, and my movie is less disturbing than that one scene in Star Wars.
This is so true.
Because there's nothing in Gremlins that even touches that scene. That's about touching yourself.
Wow.
Dave, you're number 1.
Okay. Again, this is a movie that is more than just a movie. It's part of my family life for a very long time. It came out a year before Gremlins. I think everyone watches this movie at Christmas time, and of course that's A Christmas Story.
Oh yeah.
So
I figured one of you guys would say that one.
So I mean, of course, that's another one. I remember as a kid watching it with my family. My dad loved the movie, and my uncles and my like everyone talked about, like, oh my God, that's exactly what it was like when I was a kid and whatnot. And then, of course, when I got married, that became the tradition. We always waited till Christmas Eve to wrap the presents. And of course, TBS shows it for 24 hours on Christmas Eve. So we would watch that the whole time. And it became a game. It was like, how many times do we get through A Christmas Story before we're finished wrapping? So yeah, it's
3 days later.
I mean, and it's again, I'll justify it with JD. I mean, it is a Christmas movie. There is no, but it's that a movie about family and a simpler time, and like the most important thing to a kid at that age is the gift that they want. That special BB gun, or let's say Star Wars action figure, or Boba Fett action figure that you want, or
lamp leg.
The Ninja Turtles underground sewer base this year.
I was gonna say, like, I think every kid has had that toy that they wanted, and that's all they cared about, and they weren't going to be happy until they got that specific toy, And so I think it speaks to a lot of people on that level. So
it's a great movie.
All right.
I'm surprised that because Die Hard's become such the cliched, this is a Christmas movie, wink, wink, wink thing, that I'm surprised that nobody picked that, or Christmas Vacation, because that was one that bumped out of my top.
Well, 5. I was going to say, does anyone, and you can start, JD, have any honorable mentions?
I will, thank you. Christmas Vacation would be my number 4. We just watched it. My wife and I watched that and Trading Places back to back. A holiday movie that I don't really think is a Christmas movie, but
but it's set in Christmas. I mean,
it really doesn't steer into Christmas enough. Christmas Vacation totally about Christmas.
Mhm.
How rare is it that the third film in a series
Becomes the most
becomes the
beloved.
most beloved and probably the best?
Yeah.
Like it's still, and the humor still holds up today. Like again, 30 years later, it's the stuff is funny. The dressing is a little different, but it still works.
Jelly of the Month Club.
Still funny. And when you see how crazy Randy Quaid is gone, you're like, oh, you're really not acting as Cousin Eddie. You're actually holding back.
Cousin Eddie, crazy Eddie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and Independence Day.
Yeah, again, it's like, oh, you really do think you were kidnapped by aliens, don't you? Were you?
How about you, John?
Let's see. Lethal Weapon was
Shane. Any Shane Black movie you could really put in there, less than zero.
I mean, they mentioned Christmas in it enough because they were trying to. It's a Christmas movie. They were basically yelling at you. No, I mean, honestly, again, like Charlie Brown Christmas, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the original Christmas Carol, the black and white one.
That is a good movie. That is a really good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, these are all the ones that you can sit down with your kid and watch, and they're just really good, heartfelt movies.
Yeah, and yeah, I know, and it's funny because like we all grew up with them, and especially
back when they were called moving pictures.
Well, also when there was 3 channels on TV, so it was like, oh look, now here's the Peanuts Christmas, so we can all watch it as a family.
Yeah,
I didn't grow up like that. That's you guys. I grew up with cable.
Good for you.
Hey, don't fault me for my date of birth.
We had to walk over to the TV through like 15
we were the
yards. We had to walk through 15 yards of shag carpet to get to the TV to turn the knob.
Being the youngest,
we had to do that.
Being the youngest, I was the remote. Dave, change the channel. Oh, Dave, change the channel. I'm sure your brother could say the same thing, John. But again, I didn't pick any of those just because they're obvious, and I thought everyone was going to have those on the list. So my honorable mention, I want to keep it on brand. Mistletoe is deadly if you eat it.
Ah, yes.
But a kiss
can be deadlier if you mean it.
If you mean it, yes. Thank you. So of course, Batman Returns.
I think that movie has aged pretty well. It's very Burton-y, but I think it's aged pretty well.
I don't know. I've watched both that, Batman and Batman Returns recently, and
they're not Batman movies. They really aren't.
No, they're not.
But they're decent movies.
They're definitely Tim Burton movies. And do you think Danny DeVito as the Penguin ages well?
Mm-hmm.
As a monster movie, I think it does.
Okay.
As a monster, yeah.
As a monster movie.
But I mean, it's not because he's not the Penguin for there's nothing. There's very little of that movie specifically that references anything of comics. Like, it just isn't. It's not a comics movie. But as a Tim Burton movie that happens to have Batman against a monster and a Michelle Pfeiffer and pleather, I think it ages pretty well. I mean, there's things about it that I think do work. It's not my favorite Batman movie, but it's not as horrendous as people said it was. Like, it's far better than either of the Schumacher movies.
Yeah, jeez.
There's a lot of people. There's this whole wave of people on like the Twitter discourse that are trying to convince you that Batman Forever and Batman and Robin are actually really good movies.
When they added the whoop sound when they got knocked over,
that's me too. When Bane went boing, I was like, I'm done.
Yeah,
and I was a teenager, and I was an angry teenager at that point.
Yeah, I was like, I'm
done
out.
With this.
Yeah.
Done with this.
Yeah. I lost it with the bat card.
That was pretty close, man.
Yeah,
that was pretty close.
Or what was it? Holy Metal Batman.
Holy Rusted Metal.
Oh,
that's from the third one. And actually, at least they backed it up. Like that one, I was like, oh, cute. Okay, you're being cute. The third one is much better than the fourth one, but I do think
the fourth one was
it's the fourth one's dog shit. But the second one I think has like redeeming quality. It's not a perfect story. Like they literally lifted the plot from an episode of the show. Penguin versus Slayer. But like there's elements of it that I think work. I think Michael Keaton and Michelle Pfeiffer have an incredible like chemistry between them, and you can really,
Yeah.
I think that really helped define the Batman Catwoman relationship. That wasn't always the relationship in the comics.
No, it wasn't.
You know, that movie really sets them on the path to where we get to like what Tom King did with them recently. Like that works. That stuff is pretty good. Michael Keaton, I think we've all come to agree that Michael Keaton is a great Batman.
Well, Bruce Timm might have taken a hint from them.
Oh, absolutely. Bruce Timm took a lot from those Batman movies, and he improved on a lot of aspects of it, frankly. But I mean, like, there's a lot of good stuff in those movies. The Danny DeVito character is what it is. You know, Tim Burton does like Guillermo del Toro. Tim Burton does like ornate, over the top monster movies. You know, and that's pretty much what Batman, both Batman, more so Batman Forever is. You know, both Batman and Catwoman and Penguin are monsters in various ways. You know,
very much. Yeah.
But I enjoy it.
All right. Well, that does it for our picks, boys and girls. Let us know in the comments or on Twitter or on social media, wherever you are, what your favorite Christmas movie is. And maybe we'll shout you out on the next episode. So before we wrap it up, guys, got any recommendations for our audience? John?
I am really enjoying the third season of Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon?
Yes, it is.
As a formal question.
Yes. No, seriously, like, again, we talk about good writing actually being like the thing that makes a movie or a show. And this should be just another, harem type, another anime with a harem and all that. And it's not. There was an episode in the season that literally made me cry, and the setup was done so well, and the storyline is so good that I am just dying to see every episode. And I know the name sets your brain on a different path, but it's really worth checking out.
It makes me wonder, were you crying because you were like, this guy could pick up a girl in the dungeon, why can't I?
No.
Like, I get how the Japanese use English. Like, I get it. Like, I watched.
I know. I don't watch dubs.
Why just meant the title? Like, I get that. Like, it doesn't. There's stuff in translations that doesn't work when they use English. It's just not how we would use English.
That's probably a single syllable word.
Right. It just, there's stuff that doesn't. There's stuff that doesn't work. I can give a million wrestling examples that come off just as ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just. But yeah.
But anyway, so I mean, there's 3 seasons. I'd check it out, man. It gets better every season. I'm really amazed at this show.
Cool. All right, JD.
So the only I've been really busy lately. And I don't want to do any wrestling stuff. The only show I'm watching like hardcore right now is Mandalorian, and I'm even paused watching. I'm going to finish Hellstorm when Mandalorian's done. I'm going to do a reverse recommendation. I was trying to read the book Ghost Story by Peter Straub. It's supposed to be one of like the best horror novels in the 1970s, and I was really excited to read this book because I remember watching the movie as a kid and I remember liking it. But it had probably been 25 years since I've seen it. So I was excited to read this book, and it took a month for me to get 100 pages in on this story. And at that point, I was just like, I just wasn't feeling the book. And I felt bad saying it because it's supposed to be a classic horror story, but it just didn't do anything for me, man. So that's why I've been spending my last month trying to enjoy a book, and it just didn't land for me. So my reverse recommendation would be Peter Straub's Ghost Story. I just didn't like it.
Cool. All right. I, as always, will recommend make sure you check out superheroespeak.com, where you can find links to all our social media at the top of the page, comic reviews by our good friend D Square, and the podcast every week. And and if you're watching us on YouTube, hopefully this works out. Subscribe, because we're trying to build something up here. But
Rate too. Don't forget to rate and to share. Sharing is important. Sharing is caring.
Yes, sharing is caring. Unless it's coronavirus. All right.
Don't share that. No.
So
That definitely don't do that.
Good drink at the wrong time.
I didn't have I didn't really have a recommendation of mine, but I'm going to go off of what JD did and go the other way. For those who have never read Richard Matheson's I Am Legend, the original book,
Oh, the original book is good.
I recommend checking that out. Especially if you've watched the Will Smith movie and you're like, this is crap. You're right.
It was crap.
Read the original book and you'll understand what the movie's actually, or what the story is actually supposed to be about.
There was actually a better version of that in black and white. It was with Vincent Price.
Omega Man?
Yes.
No. Mega Man is with Charlton Heston.
Right.
This
I Am
Legend
Price.
is the Vincent Price one. That is I Am Legend.
And the Vincent Price one was really actually much better, much closer too, I think.
So yeah, that is my recommendation. Yeah, it's not very Christmassy, but who cares?
If you are looking for a Christmas themed horror novel, allow me to recommend Harvest Moon by J.D. Oliva, available now at finer book retailers
and at Amazon.com.
Amazon, Kobo, Barnes and Noble, Google Play, whatever.
Yes. Help our good friend out. He needs the money. He's out of
work.
He's got a kid he's got to eventually send to college. So
Yes.
On that note, boys and girls, as always, thanks for listening. Don't let your kid get caught in the door. Have a good week.